everybody. Welcome once again to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Raj Giri, and Mr. Matt Morgan is coming along in just a few moments. We were with him earlier on the pre-show. He'll be here to join us. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw for June 5th, 2017. So we got thoughts, and we've got lots of them. Stuff to talk about tonight. Samoa Joe. Oh, my God. What segments did we have there? Great stuff with The Miz, keeping it interesting, at least if they're keeping him with Dean Ambrose. And our thoughts about, man, how Raw would have benefited from being a 2-hour show tonight. But all in all, an above-average Raw, and we're so glad you could join us. So, Raj, your sort of big picture of thoughts.
Yeah, I would say it was great until after the Miz segment, and then it went to being pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was we were talking about this, had some technical difficulties, but me, Matt, and you were talking about how I felt like this was the Samoa Joe segment was one of the best segments they've had on Raw this year.
Absolutely. No, tonight I think that and the segment with The Miz and Dean Ambrose, those would be two in my best of the year list. Certainly top 10, if not top 5. And you know what's funny? I was trying to think about what the other ones were. I remember the backstage beatdown between Braun and Roman, Festival of Friendship, and I know there's a third, and it's irking me that I can't remember it. But I feel like tonight to have two great standout segments like that in one show is pretty darn spectacular for Monday Night Raw in a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
So, very excited about that. So, you know, since we're waiting on Matt and he's going to be along here in a second, let's just do one of our sponsor breaks right now so we won't have to interrupt the flow later. Just want to give some love to one of our sponsors of this episode, which is Dollar Shave Club. You've heard us talk about it before. Dollar Shave Club is the smarter choice. They give you a great shave at a great price, and it's delivered conveniently right to your door. It's an awesome life hack and a no-brainer. I've been using my razor and the shave butter because even if you have a beard, you have to clean the thing up. And Dollar Shave Club is fantastic for that. Or if you go smooth shaven like Raj does, it works quite well in that circumstance also. And I'm telling you, it's better than those cheap disposable razors that give you the cheap shave, or those razors you have to have security tags. You have to get them from behind the counter. It's such a pain. Dollar Shave Club delivered right to your door, and it's such a deal. So we've got a deal for you. For a limited time, new members can get their first month of the Executive Razor with a tube of Dr. Carver's shave butter for only $5, and that includes free shipping. After that, razors are just a few bucks a month, a $15 value for only $5, and in your first month's box, you're going to get that awesome weighted handle, plus a full cassette of 4 cartridges and a tube of the shave butter. After that, replacement cartridges ship automatically at the regular price. No hidden fees, no commitments, cancel anytime you like. Head on over to dollarshaveclub.com/INC. That's dollarshaveclub.com/INC to take advantage of this exclusive offer, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. And Raj, you've been using it, and it's been going
Yeah, that's what all this is. It's and I'm telling you, that butter stuff really works well. It's a little different. It's not like your typical shaving cream. And every now and I'm still not used to it. So there are a couple times when I shave that I'll accidentally put the shaving cream on, and I still use the Dollar Shave Club razor. But it's a difference. Like, that butter is really smooth, and
yeah.
And I definitely recommend it. I've switched. I that's what I use now. And I mean, it's smooth, and you know, I'm 41, and it's my skin is just smooth as silk. So
yeah, you can see what you're shaving. You know, let me tell you, many a time did I have to shave off the entire beard because I was using cream and I couldn't see where I was going. But with the shave butter, I know exactly what I'm doing, which I love. dollarshaveclub.com/INC. Matt, welcome to the show. Great to see you. We were just getting one of the sponsor breaks out of the way. So overall, your top level thoughts on tonight's Raw?
Again, I thought it was a great show. Definitely anchored by Samoa Joe, MVP by far and away. This is the Samoa Joe. Actually, this is better than this. This Samoa Joe's exceeded, honestly, my expectations as far as me wanting to see them book the killer Samoa Joe that we saw at Ring of Honor, the killer undefeated Samoa Joe that we saw at TNA. Granted, they make his matches go a little bit too long. Granted, he's not undefeated, but the promo tonight and how he delivered it was on a whole different level of killer. I've never heard Joe talk like that in a promo in my entire life, and I've known the guy for 12 years now. And they've either worked with him or he's working on something new. But bottom line is he's improved, which I didn't think was possible, because Killer Joe on the mic is very confident. And he actually took it to a whole nother level tonight. Couldn't be more happy or prouder of him. And as a fan, I'm just sitting with my jaw on the ground like, holy crap. Like, if you don't have goosebumps watching this, you know, and wanting to see that matchup, something's wrong with you, you know?
This was the next level from what he was doing at NXT. I mean, this is leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and we kind of had some technical difficulties earlier. We were on a different stream, But I felt like they did a great job building him up in that angle. And then in the main event, it just went too long. It should have been shorter. He should have been a little more dominant. You're building him to be this monster. Have him be that monster the whole show. And, I hope with the spark they had tonight, if they could keep it up, I hope they change their plans with Lesnar and Strowman and have Lesnar and Joe go the whole summer, and you can move Strowman to Survivor Series. So
the matchup, you guys, mark my words, we're going to be talking about it for a while. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those not one-way match where Brock destroyed Cena that time, but I'm talking about like our reaction to how good of a match it was after Great Balls of Fire. I have a feeling it's just going to be something just totally different and off the hook, and Joe's going to more than hold his own.
Absolutely. This will be I predict right now the longest match Lesnar has had probably since at least since Ambrose at WrestleMania last year, but maybe even longer than that. I think they can really put on something special with this. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Let's go segment by segment and talk about the show. So Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns. Bray came out and cut the Bray promo, interrupted by Roman, which led to a match. So Matt, what did you think about Bray tonight versus all other nights?
All right, this week you got me. I've always tried to defend Bray's promos because I'm a big fan of how different they are. He always sucks me in. Tonight it felt very contrived about making sure he got everybody's name in, and he's gonna be doing this and that versus all four guys. That it didn't. I just don't see him doing that or acting like that or talking like that in his character. His character to me doesn't care about world championships. His character to me is on poisoning is the type of dude that poisons people's minds. He gets off on that more than anything else. Not about winning matches per se or things of that nature. So when competitive Bray Wyatt starts cutting promos like that, I don't know. I didn't feel it as much as I normally do.
I mean, it's the same stuff I felt like it's been for a long time. I mean, the Bray stuff, he keeps talking about these matches like wars and being alive and being dead. He came out and he's a god. I mean, he's there. He's like, yeah, I'm still here. It's like no one expected you not to be here after that, a fatal 5-way. It's like, I'm still alive. It's like, yeah, no shit, you're still alive. I don't know. These promos do nothing for me. So, and then, he does this whole promo and then gets beat clean again. So that's kind of the story of Bray's career.
That was the worst part of it. That was the worst part of it, where I just really felt bad for him tonight to come out there and do that. And then as soon as Roman came out, it was like Bray's losing. I mean, did anyone think there was a chance in hell that Bray was going to redeem himself in that match?
An interruption. I thought maybe an interruption or a DQ.
I thought they were going to. Sorry, go ahead.
Roman punked him right away. Knocked him right out of the immediately punked him right out.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get people interfering at the end that sets up Roman's next feud and Bray's next feud. Which that looks like with Bray they're going with Seth. Roman's still not really clear. Same as Finn Balor. It's not really clear where they're going with those guys.
But then the icing on the cake is that then Corey Graves hits the line, Roman Reigns has been overcoming adversity his entire career. Just like Roman just pulls off an upset victory over Bray Wyatt.
They're trying hard. Because it is so. Maybe he's making up for his comment last night of saying how he'll never bet against Roman Reigns. Well, no, none of us are going to bet against Roman Reigns. I mean, like out of everybody on that show, no. He makes it, not him, but the way they booked him, let me be clear about that, has made it almost impossible for me to suspend my disbelief that he's ever going to lose. I was actually, the 5-way even. Like, he got all his stuff in. And did you hear the commentary? They were real quick to point it out. Even though he did not win that match, they still were protecting him and saying, like, oh, did you see the spear through the wall? And what a big night it was for Roman Reigns. You would never say that about any other babyface. Why are you doing it for him?
Well, he is their guy. He is their top star on the brand.
Their guy.
So you got to protect the top guy.
And that's what they do. But my point is, it leads to me it's more difficult for you to ask me to suspend my disbelief when all of these things are being said, and he never loses really. it's difficult, you know.
Now, to be fair,
I don't
Roman hasn't won a pay-per-view match since WrestleMania. Yeah, because
Really?
he lost to Braun at the last one, and he didn't win the Fatal 5-Way. So those have been the only two so far.
So what an indictment that is on the fact that people, I'm representing people here, don't really always remember win losses. They remember the perception, and the perception that company has created for that dude is he don't lose. He's Superman. And dude's improved immensely. Like we got to give the dude his credit here and there, man. I don't think anybody's actually improved in that ring more than him all around. I think on the mic he's still getting better and feeling himself out, but wrestling wise, dude, he's with all of those guys as far as move for move, everything from Finn to guys that are much quicker than him to the heavyweights like Brock. And I don't know why he doesn't get the credit he deserves from the fans per se, but I do see, because it's hard to suspend their disbelief that this dude's ever going to lose. So I could see both sides of it, basically.
Yeah, totally. And I think, I think, you know, again, I think if they turned him heel, I think all of a sudden the fans would, you know, be all up in his business. So, you know, I think,
man.
Yeah, it's just how they have him. I don't think it's his skill or, you know, maybe his promos to an extent, but it's not like, you know, it's not like Cesaro kills him dead with the promos, and the internet wrestling fans love Cesaro.
No, it's all the push. It's not Roman. And I think that's the thing we need to distinguish and sort of say once and for all. It's not his ability. It's not his talent in the ring. It's not his promos. It's the fact that he feels forced. It just feels so forced, like they never miss an opportunity to put him over when he doesn't need it at this point, you know?
No, again, I like that wins and losses matter with, I wish they matter with more people, not just Roman, but I think it is good that you don't do 50-50 booking with your top guys.
No, you don't. He's their hood ornament. He's the hood ornament of that company, and deservedly so. I just think they're really missing the money with him, and they'll get there one day. He'll get there one day as well. Now that's the scary part. He's gonna be really, really top guy when they finally turn him, or he figures out how to work with this pendulum they've given him as a baby face, which is swinging from side to side from week to week. Because you hear the fans in there. There are fans trying to cheer for him, you know, but you know how it is. The vocal minority just drowns them out.
By the end of this match, the fans were pretty into Roman.
Yes, they were.
Like, they turned around.
And that's happening more and more, I've noticed.
Yeah.
It is happening more and more.
It's interesting with Roman.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting with Roman. Whenever I talk with anyone that has worked with him, or you know, been with him backstage, I mean, even guys like Goldberg, you know, when I interviewed him a couple weeks ago with Kurt Angle, they love this guy. I mean, they all love Roman. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's the guy that, you know, that's the name that comes to him when they're like the next big star. Or, and I think they all recognize that he's not being pushed right, but they all see him as the guy, just not the way they're doing it.
I'll tell you. Sorry, you guys are bouncing all over the place.
Go ahead.
No, you broke up. Sorry. You're right. Kurt, I've talked to I've talked to like 5, I'd say, different people, and you know, and ask them, hey, what's going on? What's it like up there recently? That kind of crap. And same type of thing. When you talk about Roman, it's his lineage, the respect he has for the business that comes with being in the family he's from, and his athleticism, and he's super humble. So like he's legit humble, and also takes it upon himself to be a leader at such a young age. I can't even begin to tell you, like, how many years has he been there? 3, 4, 5?
I think it's only been like 3 or 4.
Dude, that doesn't start until like year 6 or 7 or 8. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that he's already looked upon as that says a lot about him.
Yeah. I think the sense of discovery, though, I think is what's really important for fandom, right? I mean, fans want to feel like they organically, even if it is planned as a face,
somebody's their guy.
Yeah, you wanted to have that sense of discovery, and I don't mean to be hokey, but you want to fall in love with someone that you get behind, they become a fan of. Right. And when you just feel like from day one, it's like, you know, when they declare every year, like, oh, this is going to be the song of the summer, and you already hear it in every commercial and it's all out there. It's like that thing, it better be the best song ever to force it on people like that.
I get kind of pissed when that happens. I don't want people to like that song. You know what I mean? It's my song. You know
exactly.
what I mean? I don't want it to go commercial.
Yeah. You want to have a sense of ownership over the things you love, you know, and that is part of it too. So you don't want something to be too mainstream if you love it. And maybe that's the problem, is that someone like Roman can only be that mainstream.
And this is nothing new. You saw it with Diesel. You saw it with Shawn Michaels as a babyface. You know, when Shawn Michaels, when he was a babyface, they were pushing him down hard, and you know, fans were just laughing and booing at him when he like gave up the title and did that "I need to find my smile" speech. I mean, they've been doing this forever, and it's not just Roman. So you shove people down people's throats and don't go the way they want. That happens.
Yeah. So Roman went over Bray, therefore alienating people that were hoping Bray was going to come out looking a bit better from that tonight. I hope they put him in a good storyline next. I've been thinking about this, Matt, as you've been making the case for Bray. And I think that's the thing, man. It's like they just need to book him better. Don't have him come out there and declare himself a god and then get his butt kicked immediately after.
Well, they're going with Bray and Seth, clearly. Yeah. And that just does nothing for me. I mean, I think the matches might be fine, but I don't know. I think Bray is just so stale, and Seth is a babyface. I think they both need someone. Like, I think Bray and Finn would be great, because you could do the whole demon thing and that whole demon tease, and there's something there that can be brought out. Seth, I don't know. Just feels like it's been done, even though I guess as a singles it really hasn't.
How bad was Seth's promo with Samoa Joe tonight? Hey, Joe, I'll take you on. I'm standing in front of you.
Talking about his career.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that, dude?
Yeah. That's where I'm talking about, like, that organic feel isn't there. And when it is, like Joe, it felt like it. When he was doing that thing with Paul Heyman, and we'll get to it. Actually, let's just keep going and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, Jacko Bean 14 in the chat is saying Michael Cole did say the Undertaker might have been retired by Roman Reigns. I thought that was an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah, well, they've not officially announced it, but I think it's pretty clear that he has. And plus, he's getting that career-ending hip surgery. So
yeah, so it was an interesting detail.
Yeah.
So after that, lots of backstage stuff happened. We had more in the investigation with Enzo and Cass, which talk about a little bit later, since that came up a few times throughout the show about who's attacking who. Kurt Angle backstage with Alexa Bliss, setting the match with Nia Jax for later in the night, also saying that Bayley was recovering from the kendo stick match. Then after that, we had Elias Sampson in the ring again, facing off with Dean Ambrose. So this could go in this direction, although Dean Ambrose did make an appearance later in the night with The Miz. But with Elias, I gotta say, I mean, they're giving him an opportunity here. And it seems like he's getting heat for the right reasons from the crowd. So it's all story, in my opinion, where they go.
Here's the booking. Miz works Ambrose again for a title, for the Intercontinental title. Great Balls of Fire. Our boy Samson interrupts it, and then that's where he goes off into the feud officially versus Samson.
All right. I think they hint at it until then. I don't know. Do they keep Miz and Ambrose going for another 5 weeks? That seems like a long time.
I think they'll do 3 of them. Do you know what I mean? Like through various segments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll throw Samson in there to twist it up a little bit, I guess. And plus, Miz, you could just do microphone stuff with. And by the way, he did a great job tonight.
Who, Miz?
He was
awesome. Oh my God, that was it was fantastic. Only overshadowed. I mean, that would have been the segment of the night if not for Joe and Heyman.
Only good thing in the second hour, minus that main event, right? Yeah. Was it in the second hour? The third hour?
That was the second hour, yeah. And the Joe thing was the start of the second hour too. Yeah,
so let's talk about that. So they set up we were going to get the celebration later with the Miz and Maurice. By the way, I want a celebration now whenever the titles change hands. Between the Miz tonight. Love that. Hope they keep doing that.
Yeah.
Great potential there to have these standout moments if done correctly.
I love how they had that teddy bear, because everyone is thinking that it's Dean Ambrose. Everyone thinks it's so obvious.
Yeah, that was great.
And then they swerve you.
Yeah, so we'll go to that in detail in a second. But first, let's talk about the first standout part of the night, which was Samoa Joe coming out. Paul Heyman came out, put Joe over hard, and then it went to Joe getting in Heyman's face, whispering off the mic to him, and then putting him in the coquina clutch and choking him out. So Yeah, Matt, what did you think about all of this? This whole method of storytelling they used tonight to set up Joe versus Brock?
Love. Just a world beater promo by Joe at the very beginning before Paul came out. I love that promo. Just Joe by himself saying what he said, what he wants, what Brock wants, what Brock has, and started listing all the things. Very real to me. Felt organic as hell. And then Paul comes out. A lot of times in this moment, you'll see the stars start to they'll wilt, they'll shrink. Sometimes, even though Paul Heyman's in the ring putting them over or cutting them down, one or the other, you'll see a lot of these stars not be on the same level of Paul Heyman, if you will. And I did not get that from Joe tonight. Then what I really liked is they totally used the mic. Every one of our turnbuckles have microphones. And I love the fact that they use that microphone in the corner by playing it off like Joe's putting the mic down, and this wasn't about showing off in front of, TV people watching or people in the crowd. This was shoot Samoa Joe shooting with Paul Heyman off, quote unquote, off camera, if you will, or off the mic, as it was supposed to be booked as, and make it look like a shoot. Like, I'm not here to impress everybody. I'm here to talk to you, motherfucker. Where's your client's too good to be here? That's a shame. This is what's going to happen. And then started listening to him, what it was going to happen, whispering in his ear. And we could hear it all because of the mics in the turnbuckle that he walked him into. Brilliant. Friggin' brilliant.
I love how long they did it too.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Awesome. So good.
Like, they didn't cut away too quick. They let it like just go and like build it just to where you're like, is Paul Heyman going to get saved here? Because I know Lesnar's not here, but they're going a long time. And then when he does it, it's just like, wow. I think that's the first time. Correct? You can correct me in the chat, but I think that's the first time since CM Punk that I think that's the first time with
got their hands on Paul
as Brock's advocate that someone attacked Paul. Because you'll see people get in his face, like Goldberg will grab his collar and stuff. But I don't think anyone ever actually did anything to him.
I think you're right.
So I mean that's big and that's pretty huge. And yeah, Joe at first when he shook Paul's hand, I was like, oh damn it, why'd they do that? And then he pulls him near and drops the mic, and I thought this was one of the best segments of the year and did so much for Joe. It made him be that killer that a lot of people were worried that WWE wouldn't allow him to be.
I want to see.
So, this one night did a lot. I hope I hope if it does catch fire, that they are not afraid to change their plans and keep it going.
Yeah. So, oh man, now I'm really looking forward to Great Balls of Fire to see this match. I think this is going to be just fantastic. Love that we're going to get this build up. So Cesaro and Sheamus versus Rhino and Heath Slater, the cool down match, as it were, after that hot fire segment. Raj, I'll kick this to you first. A little over 6 months ago, Rhino and Slater were the SmackDown Live tag team champs. Now they're basically the Raw version of the Ascension.
I bet they just have that superstar shakeup and they're having nightmares about it every night with what's happened to their careers since then. I mean, it's not like, at least they were on TV. I forget these guys are on Raw. I think this is only like their second match since they were moved over. And the first one, they were destroyed in like a minute. This one wasn't much longer. But, I think it's good. I say it all the time. These guys just won the titles. Don't have them lose the next night. Give them some steam. So, I thought that was good that they got the win and looked dominant.
That was the role tonight, guys. Come over. You got to come. You're coming in here. You got on TV. You haven't been on in a while. You're here to get these two over. End of story. That's your job,
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cesaro and Sheamus talked tonight, Matt. We got a little more character out of them.
Yes, we did. Dug it.
Yep.
No Hardys tonight. Yeah. No Hardys. No Finn. No Bailey.
I think it was a good move. Rebuild that demand.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Didn't need it.
So after that, TJ Perkins versus Mustafa Ali, and the most notable thing about that, I think, that was a fairly swift match. But after Neville coming out, confronting TJP, building up their match on 205 Live tomorrow night. So, what'd you think about the match, Matt? And then second, I put this question out on Twitter. Austin Aries lost against Neville on 3 pay-per-views in a row. What do you think the odds are TJP wins the belt on 205 Live tomorrow night?
Good question. I got on the guy all the time in the past. TJP looked a lot more comfortable in his promo tonight, I thought. The backstage pre-tape before the match, I thought he did a good job with that. A lot more comfortable. But he is not beating him at 205 Live or on a pay-per-view. Whenever somebody does beat him, it's going to be Aries. Maybe they come back to Aries again down the road or after this 205 Live or whenever. But Aries is going to be the one to unseat him.
Raj?
I think it would be such a waste to have Neville lose to TJ Perkins on a random episode of 205 Live that no one watches. It does seem, I mean, they've been, Aries and Neville just seems kind of done now. So TJP, I guess, seems like the logical next step. So having Neville necessarily beat him clean, that seems too early too. So I'd almost say you have Aries come in and you get a DQ or something to that keeps it going. But I don't think
why can't Neville just destroy TJP?
Because who's left for him really right now?
We come back to Austin.
But he just beat him 3 pay-per-views in a row. Oh well, I mean one of them Aries won by DQ.
So let's take a month off. A month.
Well, that's
off,
what I'm saying.
days.
Like, so have TJP not lose tomorrow. You keep this going to Great Balls of Fire, and then Neville destroy TJP, and then you could go back to Austin or something else.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a long way to Great Balls of Fire. We'll see what happens after 205 Live tomorrow night. Back from the break, we got another Shattered Dreams production from Goldust. Matt, how many more of these do you think there should be before we see Goldust and R-Truth face off?
I felt tonight, even though I love these segments and I'm excited for them, because I like old school Goldust, I was a fan of his. I think tonight, if they do it one more week in a row, I think they've officially jumped the shark with it.
That's how I thought. It felt a little long in the tooth. Especially R-Truth. I was like,
yes.
Are they playing the same promos last week? It was like just a couple lines changed. It felt like so. It's starting to get to the cheesy part. Like those Goldust promos, I think you should do them every so often. Every few weeks. But not this many weeks in a row.
Right.
When you've got something like this, Matt, where it's the same setup like this, and it's going to go on for a few weeks, do they tape all these back to back, or do they shoot a new one each week?
New one each week, usually.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they're creative.
Because things change.
Yeah, that's true. Although it seems pretty locked in with Goldust and R-Truth. Don't know where else to put them. It was weird. I saw it tonight online. People were talking the main event spoilers. So have either of you guys watched main event? It seems like Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel have been going back and forth on main event for weeks or months now. I
didn't know that was even a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, it's not available on the network anymore. So it's like, it's international unless you've been illegally streaming it, Glenn.
What? I just saw the results. I didn't watch the show, but I've been known to pick up. I've watched main event before. I do not watch it every week. Sometimes you'll hear about a good episode. Like remember when AJ
Lee and Natalya?
No, remember when Bubba did the Bully Ray style thing against the Usos, where he was like dissing their grandfather and their whole lineage? That was on main event. Like I sought that out because everyone was talking about how funny it was. But no, I have not watched main event in a while. So apparently that's the Curtis Axel Bo Dallas show. If you have access to it. So we're gonna come back to the episode in a second. Want to thank the second sponsor of this episode, which is DDP Yoga, DDPY. So you saw Goldust tonight. Credits DDPY for getting him in the best shape of his life. Look at the physical transformation he had from his time at Black Rain and Impact to now. And I'm telling you, DDP Yoga is what helped him get there. Also used by the likes of Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, Mick Foley, and more. And not just professional wrestlers, but wrestling fans and people who aren't even professional wrestling fans have turned their lives and their health around using DDPY. We've got a deal for you where you can get the DDP Yoga Now app for 25% off. This app has cooking lessons from Diamond Dallas Page, all the DDP yoga workouts, and Monday motivational messages from Diamond Dallas Page himself to keep you on track and keep your head in the game. You can get access to the DDP Yoga Now app for 25% off. You can also get the DDPY DVDs for 25% off, and that includes 3 months of full access to the DDP Yoga Now app. You can also buy a max or a combo pack at 25% off. Get 50% off the second one. Head on over to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. That's ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. to take advantage of these offers, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. Tonight we saw backstage that we were setting up that women's match to have Alexa and Nia Jax, but they also involved Sasha for a moment, and then Dana Brooke and Mickie James, at least in it. Matt, for being the sole women's match on the card tonight, do you think it was wise to involve more of the roster? Or Raj, to you first, since Matt's drinking some fluids?
It gives them something to do, so yeah. I didn't mind it. I thought this segment was pretty good. I always think it always throws me off when they announce Nia Jax is 272 pounds. I mean, that makes her bigger than pretty much the entire roster, except for like five guys. Yeah. So that always throws me off. But I thought Alexa did a good job. I like how she outsmarted everyone to get the win. I think Alexa's doing great. I think they're booking her awesome, and yeah, I mean it's one of those I'm not going to remember 2 weeks from now, this segment, but it was good for what it was, and without having someone lose.
So we'll get to the match in a few minutes, but Matt, I have to ask, because Corey Graves and Kurt Angle had a little off camera or on camera off mic conference there about what's going on with Kurt's phone. So were you texting Kurt during Raw, Matt? I mean, is that what we're going to find out here?
I was sending him dick pics.
That's the article on the site, Raj. 5 tweeters, that's the quote.
Hashtag DPs.
So let me ask you this, Matt, with the Kurt Angle, Corey Graves storyline and the Enzo who attacked Enzo, you think either of these are going to pay off well?
I don't care. I don't care who attacked them, honestly. Yeah. Is anybody NXT on the possibly on the way up?
There hasn't been a hint of anyone coming up.
Top guys.
Oh, with the attack?
It's the Revival.
I think so. I mean, they had him in the background again tonight.
Is it so obvious?
And I know that tells us
it almost seems too obvious now at this point.
Yeah. Could it be that we would care about?
I still think it's Big Cass. I think him being laid out was just a red herring.
That would be, and Cass turns heel?
Yeah.
Interesting. But then you have now think about it. WWE, well, at least when Jim Ross was the head of talent relations, a big part of that company, I remember he would line things up evenly. He would line up like before the drafts and things like that. It would be exact amount of baby faces on one side, the exact amount of heels on one side, and like he would cross off this list. I remember him seeing him doing it in the cafeteria once when doing the draft one year. And my point is, they're not going to have two big heels. They're not going to have Braun Strowman and Kaz. You see what I'm saying? They're going to be. It'll be too similar.
But he's on the babyface side, and so is Roman. He's not that much,
He's going to be a heel, you're saying.
Right. But I'm saying already they have two baby faces that are big with him and Roman. So
what? Roman's not a 7-footer. This dude's a 7-footer. Roman's just
6'6".
6'3". No, what the hell he is? He's 6'3". No.
He's 6'3", but
you think he's 6'6"?
No, he's 6'3", Raj.
Is he really 6'3"?
He's not.
Yeah,
6'6".
but for Samoan, he might as well be 7 feet tall. That's like Samoan 7 foot.
Wow, he dwarfs over most of the other guys he's in with.
He is. He's a big, strong dude, but he's not taller than Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
he's not.
I'll have to go to the tape. All right, I'll take your word for that.
He's not, and Brock is 6'3". Brock is 6'3" and a half, 6'4".
Brock's
but what I was
say
gonna say
is this also. But anyhow,
yeah. I was gonna say,
but I hear your point.
You can't have two 7-foot dudes as heels. You just can't. Not on the same show. It doesn't work unless you're Kane and Undertaker, at the same time, and you're established and you've been there for years.
Right?
Is this working?
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think they're pushing Big Cass to the main event scene yet. Anyway, so you don't think they'd have like a mid card guy that's a 7-footer and a main eventer that's a 7-footer?
it would be the same type of psychology, though, is my point.
Yeah.
We'd be and the way we complained about Nia Jax and Braun having the same style of matches, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be squash matches, but the psychology of those matches would be very similar. Big, tall, strong guy talking, fee fi fo fum, I'm the biggest, baddest dude in the world, blah 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 blah. It's going to be redundant between two guys doing it. It won't work. One will hurt the other, and it'll hurt Kaz, in my opinion. I would love to see Kaz as a heel, but just on a different show, maybe.
Yeah. He's just seemed more heelish the past couple of weeks, but we'll see.
He's a good babyface, I think. He's a good babyface.
Yeah.
Plus, Enzo and Cass together can carry another. I mean, they're another story slot in the tag division. We get whoever's the champion.
They are, but
I
do see this, though. I agree with Raj almost. I could see this being a complete swerve and it being him.
Maybe
somehow.
It's a swerve and it's Enzo. Maybe Enzo attacked himself.
He annoyed the shit out of me tonight. We'll get to it.
God.
Yeah. But if it's the revival, man, I'd be absolutely happy with that resolution to this storyline.
Hell yeah, revival all day. Yes.
So Kalisto versus Titus O'Neil tonight in the aftermath of Extreme Rules last night. Speaking of tall guys, Titus and Cass, same size. They could certainly go against each other.
This is kind of like the Titus Darren Young feud that just kind of went on forever. It doesn't really matter who wins and loses.
Right.
It's just at least, I mean, this is much better than Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, but
but no Bob Backlund.
Right.
It is. And I don't think we even need to talk about it, just like I would do when we would talk about him and Darren Young.
Yeah. Okay. So, we had the layout backstage, more into what's going on with Enzo and Cass. But then the Miz segment. The Miz out there, large balloons. You deserve a chance. Love how the Miz shot down the crowd, saying that they say that to everyone that wins something. And then the mystery. That was so, man. He's so genius as a heel. It's amazing. He can even turn the crowd loving him into a heel move, which I thought was fantastic.
True heel.
And he has something when he has that belt too, where he just has that extra swagger to where he really seems like a much bigger star when he has that belt. Whereas with some people, it doesn't matter if they got the belt or not. But with Miz, he seems more legit, I guess. I don't know. He seemed like a much bigger star this week than he did last week.
And
he still ate somebody's finisher though at the end of his own segment again.
Well, that's his gimmick.
Yeah, he knows what he's there to do. But yeah, man, that's an example of how someone could still come across just so well, even when losing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like that was really good. And then the mystery unfolded of where's Dean Ambrose? How is he going to get involved in this? We thought it was the bear. We thought it was the box. But no, in a twist that rivaled the end of the movie Saw and The Sixth Sense, Dean Ambrose was the cameraman who then attacked the Miz.
Didn't they do the Ambrose as a cameraman before?
I feel like they did it on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I felt like they did too. But
maybe with AJ?
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. I just remember seeing someone disguised as a cameraman. But I thought it was a good swerve. I liked it because, when you saw the teddy bear, it was almost annoying that it was so obvious that it would be Dean Ambrose. So when it wasn't, he took the skull crushing finale. I thought this was it was an entertaining segment. It was campy, but it was entertaining.
Oh, but even the writing,
very, very, very good.
Even the beauty of, predicting like the beat ahead of time and Maurice going, "What do you mean? I didn't book the bear." And then it was just so well played with those beats. Maurice getting mad at the Miz for busting up that grandfather clock. Love that. I mean, look, I'm not excited about seeing more of Ambrose versus the Miz, but this segment I think bought them another week or two in my good graces of being willing to entertain that, especially if they keep doing stuff like tonight. It was fantastic. So Enzo Amore and the Big Show versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Matt, what did you think of this?
I didn't know where they were going with this. I kept thinking a bunch of times, maybe hook, line, and sinker, that Big Show was going to freaking just throw him in the third row.
Mm-hmm.
They were teasing that.
But Enzo was annoying as hell. Like, he wasn't entertaining. He was doing that thing again where he's reaching way too far for people to understand his analogies and his jokes during his raps, during his freestyles. and he's talented. He really is, but he reaches a little bit too far sometimes. And tonight was like a great example. What did he say? I'm 4Gs. I got good connection. What the? He's talking about iPhone. Like, what? Come on, dude. Like, there was a lot of things like that. That's just like, I'm thinking way too hard about what you're saying here, dude. And then he's cutting show now, you know. And I was like, dude, this would never happen. Show would throw this dude to the 5th row. And I was waiting for it to happen, and that was the whole point. And Show's got some good ass acting chops because he was actually entertaining what he was trying to do. It made me uncomfortable, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It made me uncomfortable to watch Show do all that, but you know, because I see him as a giant killer. But I don't know. It was something different, you know, something different to get them where we needed to get to. And did you notice in the back how they use the angles in the camera to make Kaz look like he's the same height as Big Show?
Yeah, right. That's
well
true. They were shooting.
I'm glad that they paid attention to that. I'm glad that they paid attention to that because they when I was there, sometimes they would do it, sometimes they wouldn't. And when you have, you know what I mean? I got immediately thrown in there with Big Show, my first time up on TV. And I was like, all right, here's a 6'10", 6'11" dude, and boom, you throw me in there a 7'2" guy, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so that was really well done, and it keeps the mystique that Kaz really is 7 feet, even though he's not. He's like 6'9.5".
Yeah, and I like that Big Show was giving these little teases like the whole time, like he might have been the one that attacked Enzo. You know, he had that look on his face.
Yeah, I forgot that. I forgot to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that part was good, but then it just kind of turned to crap. I don't know. Like you said, I thought Enzo was just way too annoying in this segment, and but you know, it kept that mystery going. Again, they really need to pay off, I think, on both of these because they do so many of these, and the payoff is always crap. So I really hope. Remember with like who attacked CM Punk, or Nash's text, or you know, it was something like Nash got that text to attack CM Punk, and the payoff was that he had texted himself. You know, all these times they do these mystery angles, and then it always goes to crap. So I just
Hornswoggle underneath the ring with a laptop.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So they got to pay this off. So I think Enzo, Big Cass violently beating down Enzo would be good. If it is a revival, I hope they do a creative way to do the reveal.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the angle text angle. The angle text angle. Yeah. You're
worried. I'm a married man. How do you think I feel?
Those get on the internet quick.
If that's the payoff, I'm 100% in favor of this.
My wife's out here listening to me. Larissa, I just said on the air how I sent dick pics to Kurt Angle's phone tonight. She's looking like I'm crazy.
Okay, so Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss tonight.
That would be awesome if you did that though. While I know it's not his real phone, but if you know, he did do that while he was like on one of those shows. But anyway.
Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Not so much a real match as Alexa Bliss trying to get herself DQ'd. You think they saved this for a pay-per-view, man?
I thought it was smart. I thought that was smart. It made her look smart. You know what I mean? She stated, I was worried that she was about to get killed tonight.
Yeah.
You know, and kill all her heat.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking to myself when we were like, who's next? Who's next? Is it, you know, who'd we say we might be the boss, right?
Yeah,
but I was like, when Nia, they like her, you know, I kept thinking maybe she'll be the one that they get pulled back in, but she better not beat her is all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a couple more weeks till Great Balls of Fire, and then we'll see how that match shakes out.
Hey, I got an idea for the Kurt Angle thing though. Remember when they did that little love triangle between Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon?
Stephanie?
Yeah, and it ended up with, you know, Stephanie never going with Kurt, just kind of kicking him in the nuts or something like that. What if that video, if someone has backstage video of him and Stephanie getting it on? Now they probably wouldn't do it now, you know, with today's PG environment, but
because they're PG.
Yeah, but that would be something. Someone's got pics of Kurt Angle and Steph.
That would be really cool for today, like our age of fans. You know what I mean? That we're back and watched that storyline develop back in the day.
Yeah.
And they tied, they kind of tied a bow on it with that. Like years later, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hunter, shit, I'd pay for that.
Yeah.
That could be good. That's a SummerSlam match. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so after Alexa won by DQ. Okay, so we had Paul Heyman backstage talking to Brock on the phone, announcing that Brock Lesnar is going to be next week at Monday Night Raw. After that, okay, so Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins. How did you describe it? An annoying Seth Rollins cutting an annoying screechy
his
promo?
Voice.
Yeah.
It's just it wasn't. I don't know what he was doing beforehand, but he just wasn't in the moment. He wasn't in the context of what was happening in front of him as far as the intensity levels were.
Yeah.
And things of that nature. You know what I mean? Joe was pretty damn intense about you get it, nobody better be, get in front of me between me and Brock Lesnar, they're dead or whatever the hell he said, but it was intense, and Kurt looked a little bit uncharacteristically uncomfortable to me a little bit tonight. He's usually money in every segment he's in. But I don't know. I don't know if he was uncomfortable or maybe that's what he was trying to play on purpose. But I expected more of like a stare down with Kurt, just that tease, like getting in his grill a little bit. But then Seth comes in. It's completely changed the context of it. With it's not even just it was his tone. You know what I mean? And what he was saying about how I've beaten you. No, hey Joe. But you trying to end my career, bro. Like out of nowhere. Like we were just watching the Samoan killer ready to take Kurt's head off and everyone else who gets in front of him. And that's what you're going to say to him? Yeah. And the worst part was Joe had to sit there and listen to it. And I was like, oh, this is hurting Joe a little too. Joe should just eat him up alive right now.
Right.
I'm surprised it didn't happen in the match. But, I'm surprised they let Joe win by distraction. That Rollins was distracted. I think you need to make Joe look as strong as possible now.
Right, yeah.
100%.
Especially the coquina clutch is the perfect out with that because that's the move no matter who it is. I mean, we saw it with Finn. If he gets you in that move, he can win. That's his advantage is that move. And I think that to have Rollins have to be distracted to get in that tonight was the part that seemed a little odd and off to me. But
it is because you're right.
Yeah. And any other night, that would have been a perfectly acceptable ending to the match. But now I want Joe to be the destroyer leading up to his match with Brock.
I still would have been annoyed with that finish on any other night because they do it too much. And it's, again, that 50-50 crap. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with guys getting clean losses. If you're not comfortable with these guys getting clean losses, then book somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have put Dean Ambrose in that spot or, because they don't really care about him losing as much right now. So, yeah, totally.
I thought that was Vince's guy. Am I incorrect about that?
Dean said he was Vince's guy.
Really like Dean Ambrose?
Dean, and I think he was joking. But, I'm sure I think they don't see Dean. I mean, it's clear they don't see Dean, where they see the other guys. He was on the pre-show at WrestleMania. So.
I think they gave him a chance.
Really?
I mean, they gave him a chance last summer, right? I mean, after the brand split, especially when Reigns was out for that month with the suspension. I mean, Dean was doing 2 house shows in one day.
Yeah, I think that was more out of desperation because they lost Roman.
Yeah. Well, paved the way for AJ Styles as champ in SmackDown, at least that feud. So we'll see. But I think Dean's up there. And he could certainly come back at any time to that top position if they book him right and give him.
I don't like him there.
Yeah, I feel like they just don't know what to do with him. They make him sort of cocky and arrogant. And
what's crazy is if you go back and watch the Johnny Moxley promos, like I was a huge fan of that character, of that guy.
Yeah.
Well, that guy was
always so comfortable. He was always so comfortable on the mic, and he still is, but he's trying a lot of different things. You could see it. He's
trying to be too funny.
And it goes too far sometimes, right?
Right. As opposed to that intense, like we've talked about this before, like when the Shield were together, he would just really stand out with those promos, just kind of crazy. Not crazy like now where he's crazy, funny, goofy, but like kind of crazy nuts.
Little twitch to him, during a really meaningful promo. You know what I mean? Like a Roddy Piper-esque.
Exactly.
Remember, people were comparing him to Roddy at the time, man. That's how good he was.
Yeah. Needs to get that edge back. That's why I say, man, if you brought the Shield back together for the summer and turned them heel, it would be all three of those guys are better off as heels right now.
Huh. Never thought of that.
I think it'd be a hot angle too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who do you have him go against? You have him go against
you could turn Bray. Nah, you don't want Bray in there. Finn.
Definitely Finn.
And gosh.
A lot of heels.
Yeah, that's a lot of heels.
Well, all three of those guys are freaking what do you call it? They're heels right now, right? So you'd have to flip flop three other guys to make.
Yeah, because you don't want Brock teaming with them. You don't want Brock in that kind of role. You kind of want to leave Brock as a loner. So yeah.
I'll tell you, you know what they could do, I think. So if this angle thing shakes out where maybe we don't have a GM for a while, I would like them to do reforming the Shield with a purpose, kind of like when they originally started with the, fighting against injustice, and they come together as the three guys trying to keep order in the chaos that WWE would be without a GM. I think they could give it a story angle and have it make sense rather than just let's get the band back together.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways you can do it. I don't see them going back to it though.
Simple. Let's get the band back together because we make more money together. We ran this stuff. That's simple.
Yeah. Or if you had
sold more merch, we made more money.
What if you had them as baby faces? You had Finn turn heel with the club. They're not doing anything. Finn and the club start running roughshod. They started kicking the crap out of Dean every week. And then they started, going after Rollins. And then at the end, Roman comes, like a few weeks down the line. And then you got your, a big 6-man at SummerSlam.
Be awesome.
Finn cannot be a heel.
He was a great heel in New Japan.
He didn't have to. It was very different. They were talking, he'd be a heel in talking about competitiveness. Do you know what I mean? I'm this, I'm that. And this is entertainment now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where you got to be like really over the top as a heel to get any kind of heat. And AJ, I thought would have the same issue, and he didn't. AJ actually ended up being a really damn good heel.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong, I hope I am. Love Finn Balor.
Does it seem like he's doing the finger guns more lately, or am I just noticing it?
I think he's been doing that a lot.
I feel like I'm just noticing it more since his return.
What the hell?
I mean, he's been on TV a lot more since
the
his
guns, the pointing, and the shoot.
The Bullet Club stuff.
Yeah, the Bullet Club, the original thing. I feel like he didn't do that as much.
First of all, that's Matt Morgan's friggin' Monday Night Raw podcast, post-show podcast sign-off.
The guns, yeah.
They stole it from me. No.
Quite possible. I don't know. But no, I always love seeing that little touch. So final thoughts on tonight's Raw, Matt.
Loved it. Gotta give them, I'm giving them a huge grade. I'm giving them an A-.
Wow.
No, I'm giving them an A.
Whoa.
I'm giving them an A. How about that one? I'm giving them an A because I'm incredibly invested in Samoa Joe, and he absolutely anchored the hell out of this show as far as getting my attention, getting me excited about wanting to see him versus Brock more than ever. He sold a lot of tickets tonight. If this was back in the day where they had pay-per-views that you actually went out and bought, he sold a shit ton of tickets tonight.
Yeah.
And love the show because of it.
Yeah, that angle. I mean, again, you take out the silliness and the goofiness, and you see what could happen. And you saw it tonight. I thought it was a B- except for the Samoa Joe stuff, brought it up to a B+. But there's just way too much silliness and stuff like that for me to get it in the A level.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. And Wednesday, myself, Raj, Chris, and Raj, do we want to tell everyone who else is going to be joining us this Wednesday?
Vince Russo will be on. He's been getting attacked from all angles lately. So he's
why are you letting that jobber on the show?
See, everyone's attacking him.
Yeah, see, there we go. Yeah, special guest. He'll talk about he made some. Jim Cornette is claiming that Vince Russo has been sending letters every week to Vince McMahon, asking for his job back. And Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, they don't send each other Christmas cards. But Russo,
he was exact. Can you guys?
Yeah, we could hear
you. I listen to both shows. I listen to Vince's, and Vince does regularly say that he that he'll watch the show and how horrible it is, and how he'll offer his help.
Right.
That's same damn thing. But whatever way you want to look at it, you know what I mean? But both of those guys, what sucks is both of those guys were pretty damn good to me, man, especially Cornette though.
Yeah.
So weird to be in kind of between them, but definitely Jimmy's my guy. Love Vince as well, but you know, learned a lot more from Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, both have made their marks in different ways, and so yeah, it'll be fun. So
Cornette's a Hall of Famer. Let's be real here. Jim Cornette's a Hall of Famer, and I hope he gets his opportunity.
Yeah, well, Wednesday, Vince Russo responds to some of the mud Cornette's been slinging, and
you also can't. You got to say that Vince Russo was the head writer at the most successful period in the highest rated period since the 90s. I'm not counting the 80s, because the 80s the ratings.
And let me be clear: nobody in TNA or WWE booked me or wrote better television for Matt Morgan than Vince. So let me be clear before I even say anything else. By far, Vince, all my main event pay-per-views, I think I had like 7 of them, Vince was booking. So I owe him a lot for that, but for one person to take all the credit, you know what I mean?
Right. No, for sure.
For 1,000,001 stud-ass wrestlers that were tons of years under their belt of experience, wrestling all around the world, coming in right at the right time, characters, which is him helping them and putting them in the right light and shining the right, helping these guys with their promos and helping them with their personas and bringing more out of them and giving them opportunities. But, he'll tell it to you. All he did was give them opportunities. But I don't think any one person should ever take credit for the Attitude Era or anything for that matter. But whom I am, I never wrote, so I really shouldn't say anything. Who knows?
No, for sure. And I know. I agree 100%. It was just lightning in it was the lightning in a bottle with all those personalities. Right. But you see the formatting of the show was a lot more less week to week the exact same. You got badass wrestlers now, but they're doing pretty much the same thing, from week to week. And at least you had more variety and change from week to week, and it didn't seem you were excited to see what was next. Boys
today, then those were men. There's go back and watch it. Look at any one of those guys and tell me, well, he kind of looks like a kid. Nope. Look at today's wrestling. That dude looks like a kid. Finn Balor looks like a kid. Seth Rollins looks like a kid. All of
Yeah.
I think there's something to do with.
There's just something to it. I don't know what it is.
I think it's bigger than wrestling. I think it's across the board. I watch old TV all the time, and people that were, I'm 41. People that were 41 in 1980 or 88, they look ancient to me. I think there's something about preservatives and the way we've aged since then.
Yeah, you look at like MacGyver back then, and when they do a MacGyver remake now, and it's like some, like 18-year-old kid now, as opposed to like it was a man.
This is a really good conversation. This is a good conversation. This is something I've thought about a lot. Whenever I watch wrestling, I go, what is it? What am I missing? Yeah. Why do these dudes just look like kids? And I remember thinking, like, well, we kept ourselves in better shape. Maybe that's why we don't age as quickly, because we're not, the guys aren't out doing as many, doing drugs and smoking their asses off and drinking and blah, 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 and dieting and lifting properly. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it is, I was thinking. But what you guys just said, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's something
also across the board
about the style. I think there's also something about the style. I think style being of the time ages somebody when you look at it in hindsight, because you associate it with where you were at the time that you first saw it. Even if you didn't see it before, even if you watch a movie right now that you've never seen before from 1985, you have a memory of that time, and that's going to put you in that mindset of being that age. That's my thought. But I think about that all the time, man. Because we watch a lot of old TV, and I always feel like if that's 41, that doesn't look to me how 41 is now, or people I know at that age. So I don't know.
Well, Andre was like 40 at WrestleMania 3, right? Think about that. And Hulk Hogan was like late 30s. And when you see like, to think that those guys, even when I think of them now, they just seem so much older. They just seem like, I don't know. It's just weird to think that they were in their 30s and 40s. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, like what? So again, why is Russo coming on again to settle his stuff with? Jim Cornette,
I mean just to talk about booking today and the 3-hour Raws and problems, and
he can't do that on his own show.
Hey man, he was yeah.
He left, dude. He left wrestling high and dry. How dare you bring it back to the show? That's all I'm saying.
It's like the WWE, man. No one's ever really gone for good.
We've always been on good terms, and he's got his podcast going on Podcast One, and we always wish him the best, and it'll be fun.
So tune in for that Wednesday.
And we got Tony Schiavone coming on in a couple weeks on Wednesday.
Nice.
Wednesday in a couple weeks.
Awesome. So Matt, anything you want to plug before we wrap things up here?
Sure. Swoleclock.com, 5percentnutrition.com, musclesportmag.com. What else am I forgetting? Eggwhites247.com, nutritionsolutions.com. That dietary food that Jinder Mahal himself is using. All these are my sponsors going into my men's physique show July 22nd. So I'm just giving a quick shout out that nobody on this wrestling site is going to go check out. So
Nutrition Solutions, man, or all this stuff. I'm telling you might not look like Matt Morgan, but it'll get you one step closer by following and taking what he's taking.
If you, you absolutely will. If you diet your ass off and get your ass in the gym, why not?
Yeah. Cool, man. So Raj and I will be back here on Wednesday with Vince Russo. Be sure to tune in then. Until next time, on behalf of myself, Mr. Matt Morgan, and Mr. Raj Giri.
Yeah.
I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.